Hello! Welcome back to a new episode of Ask an Adventurer. You ask me questions and I answer them. Nice and simple. First question today. Thank you for your interesting advice on podcasts. May I ask how much money a podcast generates? I'm not aiming for Joe Rogan status, but wondering if it could generate enough to repay the equipment costs. So when I decided to do my first podcast, it was called Living Adventurously. You can find it in all the podcast places, and it's good. I think my podcast's good. Unfortunately, it's died now. Let me talk a bit then about all of this. So, I started podcast by spending, I guess, about £500 on recording equipment. So it's quite a lot. You can do it much cheaper. You can do it just with your phone and a little plug-in microphone into your phone. That's perfectly fine. You can do them via websites like Riverside is a sort of Zoom for podcasts. So you can do these things cheaply or even free. And I actually think that's a really good way to go about starting something like this. Just check out whether you actually like to do it. Do 6 episodes recorded on your phone. If you think they're any good, and vitally your friends honestly think they're any good, then yeah, maybe buy the extra gear. How much money to get? So I got my website sponsored by a company, and this is 100% nothing to do with my podcasting skills. This was 100% because the company, they're called Komoot, a mapping company, very good mapping company. And here you see a benefit for sponsors is that the sponsorship for a company isn't just for the finite period of it, it extends afterwards and beyond. So Komoot, very good map company, and now getting a little plug from me telling you about this, even though they didn't sponsor my podcast anymore. So they gave me a chunk of money, transparent. They gave me, I think it was £10,000, which is fantastic. But they were giving me that, not anything to do with my podcasting. They were just taking a punt on maybe my other things I'd done, books and films, and they thought they'd get a return on that. If I'd never done any podcasting or anything before, there's no chance they would have given me any money. Of course not. So I was very lucky to get upfront cash. I looked into trying to get money from, the advert breaks within podcasts, which, by the way, are so annoying. If you're doing a podcast, please don't put adverts in the middle. They're so annoying. So they're sort of automated system type ones, and really you need a lot of listens before you make any money. Similar to YouTube ads, that if you're starting out, you're not going to make much. You're not going to make anything from it. So I think realistically, if you do a podcast, you need to see that it will cost you money, and perhaps it might make you money later down the line by bringing in other sorts of opportunities. But I really don't think it's a great way to actually try to make money. What have you found to be the best strategies for reaching as many people as possible? Wow. So I remember when I first got on Radio 4, national radio, what's it called? It's a good program, I can't remember what it's called. They interview about 3 or 4 people for about 15 minutes each. It's probably got, I don't know, a couple of million people. And I scampered home after this to my website to watch all the book orders come flying in. Not one single extra book was sold. Similarly, when I've had articles in national newspapers, nothing at all. The thing is, though, you just never know who might be listening. It might be just that Jeff Bezos happens to be listening, is interested in what you do, and decides to give you £1 billion. So that's why I keep sort of plugging away with all these sort of things. But really, I found the way of reaching people has just been it's not an exciting answer. It's just the slow drip, drip, drip of trying to produce interesting content on various different platforms regularly for many, many years. Which isn't a very exciting answer, but that's generally what's happened to me. And then little by little, my audience has just grown like that over time. There's no secret to it, really. It's just trickled upwards. In terms of what's the most effective platform, that really varies. So 10 years ago, when I was trying to get micro adventures to be big, Facebook was where it was all happening, and Facebook was brilliant for that. Now, trying to promote my new book, local, available in all the bookshops. When I put stuff on Facebook, no interest really. Twitter was really helpful probably 5 years ago when I was doing like the doorstep mile and the questions for Ask an Adventurer. That was really good, but now it's just turned into this weird, crazy place, so that's not much use. So at the moment, Instagram's my most useful social media thing, but bearing in mind what's happened to the others, then I'm sure that will eventually evolve to be not so useful for me. Which leads then to the one bit of the internet which is forever mine, which is my blog, my website, my email newsletter, my email list. So keeping a blog kind of trickling away and working hard on email newsletters, I think, is the most long-term important way of having a longevity on the internet. Hi Al, the amazing Benita Norris, Everest climber, Red Bull diving presenter, directs me to your Instagram. I'm a writer and aspiring world explorer. My question is on how to make money when you're just starting out. Yeah, this is the nightmare conundrum, right? When I first wanted to cycle around the world, no one would give me money or a bike, which is really annoying because I was about to go and do something amazing and difficult and would have been really helpful, and I would have given them a good return on investment. But of course, I hadn't done anything, so no one was going to give me money and a bike. Now, I'm sponsored by Outkit, very good company. They give me t-shirts, but they also give me money and they give me a bike. And to be honest, I don't deserve them now. I don't really do anything very interesting anymore. So this is the unfair conundrum of starting out. And then certainly writing, geez, I mean, you make no money from writing ever, let alone when you're starting out. So what this boils down to is you need to find some sort of way to pay for the interesting part of your life before anyone is interested in it. And this probably means you need to just go get a normal job and save up money for a bunch of time and then go do a really interesting adventure which you can come home and hopefully then later monetize by writing, speaking, producing films about, etc. Or you try and juggle both. You do, I don't know, you write your books from 6 a.m. till 8 a.m. every day, and then you just go get a day job and you grind at that for a bunch of years. I don't think there's any other easier option, unfortunately. Have you met or know of Daniel Raven Ellison? I wonder if this email's from Daniel Raven Ellison. Dan Raven Ellison's a really interesting guy. You should check him out. He has good ideas. So he's been promoting making London a national park city because London has more trees than the Lake District and loads of footpaths and stuff. So why not treat it like a national park city and care for it with the same concern that we apply to wilder places. And then he's got this new great project called Slowways, which I urge everyone to get involved with, which is trying to find a walking network of routes across Britain linking villages and towns. And it's fantastic. So yeah, check out London National Park City and Slowways. He also did a really good video. It's called something like Britain from the Air in 100 Seconds. If you Google that, you'll find it. And it's drone footage of Britain's landscapes split into the proportion of what makes it up. So, for example, I might assume that Britain is nearly all concrete, but in reality it isn't. Britain's nearly all cow farms and grass for cows and not that much actual urban stuff. So yeah, that's a good video. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. There's lots of good thoughts. It's an article about how you use Scrivener for books. I haven't written an article about how to use Scrivener because there's lots of articles out there by more organised people about how to use Scrivener. But I will say that Scrivener is a tool which has been so helpful for me writing books, and I probably use about 1% of its powers, but I find Scrivener fantastic. So if you get serious about trying to write a book, then I'd really invest in it. What do you think about e-bikes for adventures? I think anything that helps you get out and have adventures is great. I also think that adventures are better when they're slow and involve suffering, effort, hard work. So I don't really do any motorized adventures, but if an e-bike helps you have an adventure yourself, then I'm all for it. Absolutely, whatever it takes. Right, here's an enormously long question which might well punish my laziness for not prepping it, but I'm just going to launch in. Hi Al, what are your thoughts on finding an adventure partner? None of the people in my life have the same passion or drive for adventure as I do. Have you ever come across something for adventurers considering starting up a notice board? Explorers Connect is a good place for that. There's I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but the Adventure Queens Facebook group's really good for that. For women trying to find adventure partners. In Scotland, there's the Adventure Collective. That's a bunch of women doing cool bike-based stuff. The Yes Tribe is also a good community for people looking for adventure type things. But I do think there could be a scope for someone to set up an online adventure notice board, people looking for partners. The Tinder for the adventuring community. Boom. Wow. If anyone sets up that app and makes $1 million, remember me. But seriously, if anyone does set up something like that, let me know and I'll happily share it, because I think that's a really good thing. Right, wow. Okay, so the next question is a long one. So I'm going to stop today and I'll come back next week for another episode of Ask an Adventurer. If you'd like to ask me a question, put it in the show notes before. Not the show. I need to work on my endings. Yeah, somewhere to do with this video, you'll find a link so you can ask me a question. Thanks very much. Bye.